Oh, all right. How's it going? Me? Yeah, I'm good. I've discovered a deep, dark secret at the heart of capitalism and film. There's a hole in the filmscape. As you can see, I'm not very happy about it. Now, if this truly were the beginning of a space odyssey, then I would have just finished pulverising my colleague to death with a bone, which would then crossfade into a spaceship. But that's not the only story we can tell about our species, is it? We can fight, sure, but we can also love and we can write. This broadcast is brought to you by the letter E. Okay, have fun.
Utopia with an E, delineating the missing film genre. I watch the world through my laptop. I use it to work, to keep up with the news, in touch with friends, and for entertainment. Sometime in the last 10 years, I made an observation with it that has kept me busy ever since. There are almost no stories about the future that show a happy, functioning planet full of happy, functioning life forms to be found using my laptop. Or, to put it more directly, there are no utopian fictions in our mainstream media. I'll talk about that first E a bit later. I want to see these kind of worlds because I think they'd be good for our dreams. We need something to shoot for as we stare down the barrel of massive wealth inequality, rising populism and global climate catastrophe. But as I said, I can't find them, these utopias, anywhere. Let's start with a mundane example to clarify what I'm talking about. Remember these guys? Isn't that a happy, functioning world? No, it isn't. It's an exclusive one. The characters of Friends clearly represent straight, white, middle-class privilege, and the way Friends shaped dreams was to narrow norms. This is not utopian. A utopia is not a place where only some people can be happy. Utopia is a place where everyone can be happy. Because Friends was so obviously flawed, it begot other sitcoms that tried harder to be more inclusive, such as Modern Family. Despite a much broader representation of difference than Friends, which is great, Modern Family doesn't attain what I'm looking for either, this time because of all the things. In case you didn't know, Modern Family, along with almost all film and television, is grounded in the current global present that consumes things produced by unseen workers via global capitalism. Worse, as we know, the production and continued existence of this endless procession of things is feeding the biggest of our current global challenges, climate change.
Now, don't get mad at me for being tenuous. You know it's true. Our things are wrecking the planet. Yet we fill our dreams with them constantly. Via adverts, sure, but also via all the film and television we watch, which just shows these things again and again, in the eyes and stuck in the brain. No wonder we can't live without all these things. I'm not saying that all of TV is wrong. It's natural for us to want to show ourselves our world. It's not TV, it's me. I'm looking for something particular. What I am saying is that no film or TV that casually litters its sets with any old thing from this present can truly be said to be describing a positive future. But that's okay. There is a genre that's based on visualising new objects and new ways of being. Science fiction.
To prove me wrong, all we need is some kind of positive science fiction, where the world and all of the objects in it are different, but working, and all the people and plants and animals that live on it are living harmoniously together. Surely there's some of that out there. Isn't there? The most obvious film that comes to mind here is James Cameron's Avatar. It's dealt with difference by making everyone blue.
Nice!
It's got a cool biological interface that's kind of like the internet, where the people can hook up with the planet to talk to their ancestors and feel their ecosystem directly.
Which is exactly what we need right now.
And because it's based on the socio-political model of hunter-gatherers, there are practically no modern things messing the place up. That all sounds pretty utopian, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Except Avatar is based on the socio-political model of hunter-gatherers,
a way of living that would be unsustainable for a group of around 7 billion Na'vi living here on Pandora, or a similar amount of humans living on Earth. Therefore, although it is great for forging dreams of the natural world, Avatar isn't really presenting us with a possible future. It's more a trippy critique of our past, complete with psychopathic invaders bent on stripping the place of its natural resources without regard for the indigenous life forms that lived there already.
Okay, so Avatar won't do. There are several other films that are often claimed to be somehow utopic. Let's have a quick look at them to see if they might provide what we're looking for. Black Panther, with its hidden nation of high-tech warriors, might appear to be the most promising. Its beautiful African cast and strong supporting women are wonderful, but socio-politically, Wakanda is a patriarchal feudalism. That combo is an insult to the Black Panther movement. That we're tempted to be satisfied by this film with today's stakes is absurd. Tomorrowland also looks promising. It has some nice observations about the media's effect on our future.
There are two wolves, and they're always fighting. One is darkness and despair. The other is light and hope. Which wolf wins?
Whichever one you feed.
But its supposedly utopian alternate reality falls into easy cliches about the relationship between the shared and totalitarianism. Ready Player One addresses class struggle in a dystopian near future. Its utopian potential lies in Act 3. The hero comes from a slum and winds up, with his community's support, winning the rights to the world's most important computer game. What do he and his mates do with this? Do they rebuild their community utopically? No, they selfishly leave it and move into a neoliberal yuppie flat because what else? You might be tempted to praise Interstellar for ending the film positing humanity's post-climate catastrophe survival on an asteroid somewhere near Jupiter. 1. The asteroid is Little America down to the fricking hospital vending machines. 2. The saviour of the human race is an egotistical, chronically absent tosser. Oh, in case you're thinking Star Trek, American colonial imperialism is not utopic. And finally, good old Bill and Ted. Of course, these guys are most excellent. But when we finally get to their utopian future in the second film, it's been taken over by a military junta. Remember, I want to see functioning, shared spaces. Why are they so hard to find?
To think about this more deeply, it's time to go to the source. Thomas More's genre-forging book itself, Utopia. Thomas More was Lord Chancellor of England under Henry VIII. He was a devout Catholic whose love and respect for his daughters was well known, and he was also a renowned wit. More wrote Utopia as a joke and a critique, or as a critique hidden inside of a joke. It flips between these things and doesn't admit to either. The name itself was a joke. In Greek, eu means no, topia means place, so utopia is no place. But eu means good and sounds the same as you, so when you say it out loud, utopia means no place and good place. Many people jump on this to argue that the good place is no place, but, as I say, More's utopia doesn't fit into that argument. It flickers. Most likely because he didn't want to be too direct in his critique, for obvious reasons. And because it's just a story. The book itself is split into 2 books. Book 1 is about More's Europe. Book 2 is about his fictional place, Utopia. Because of this format, where More first describes his actual world before describing the fictive one, it couldn't be clearer what a utopia is. A utopia is a critique of the present, created by producing a positive dream image of the world as it could be. A theorist called Darko Suvin named this technique, which you can use to describe all of science fiction, cognitive estrangement. Ooh, what a mess. Hold on a minute. Yes, there we go. Science fiction uses dream images to critique the present, causing cognitive estrangement in the viewer, because it takes you out of your world, allowing you to view it from afar, estranged. Most of our current science fiction deals only with negative dream images, dystopias.
I think this creates a collectively skewed perspective of our future.
More didn't do that.
As Lord Chancellor, he was well positioned to have seen 16th century life in all its gory details, and as a man who took his faith seriously, he was troubled by much of it. To critique this, Moore posited a world where private property and wealth are abolished.
Oh, we can probably get up then.
In Utopia, collecting gold is laughed at, poverty is unheard of, different religious views are tolerated,
Everybody's welcome.
and a practical approach is taken to organising society.
What's he doing in charge? Yeah, he's useless.
Oh, sorry.
Populations are in balance with resources.
Bye.
Each city is like a garden state with a shared surplus of food and drink. Everyone is well educated
What's the square root of 72? Oh, you'll need a slide rule for that.
and must take a turn at the menial tasks,
You-ho, Henry. Ha ha.
and positions of power and responsibility are granted based on ability.
Oh, really?
All things that we are still somehow striving for to this day.
The last laugh is on me. And the funny thing is, 500 years later, as the West wrestles with extreme wealth inequality, populist idiocy, and climate change under their watch, a shared world where nothing was owned by individuals remains a highly relevant fictional critique of today. That's what there aren't any stories about. A shared world where private property and private wealth are not bedrock assumptions upon which everything else is built. Come in, sit down. What is a shared world?
Well, you can draw a line through Plato's Republic, the Bible, Moore's Utopia, up to Marx and Engels that connects to the ancient desire for all people to be treated equally.
Yes, on some level, they're all talking about the same thing, a shared world. Unfortunately, though, there was a word for the sharing of property and wealth in your time. It was called communism. That's right, and as we all know, it is a toxic word. It's connected with ideas of lack of personal freedom and totalitarian governments doing what they want to the masses. Indeed. Before the fall of the Berlin Wall, it was very easy to connect communism with totalitarianism. But lately, it's been looking less likely that this is correct.
That's right. Interestingly, the 20th century rise of the regimes is concurrent with the rise of Hollywood, which naturally was not in a position to say anything positive about communism either.
Yeah, and this continued through most of the 20th century. The sad thing about that is, though, the way most filmmakers made films was to look at the way other filmmakers made films.
Right. And that means there is a major lack of inspiration from which to draw when dreaming of creating a positive shared future, because there aren't any.
Yes, because shared worlds were seen as communist totalitarian dictatorships. Could it also not be, though, that because the capitalists own not only the means of physical production, but also the means of mental production, that's why it's so hard to see, as the cliche says, an end of capitalism? This would be a gigantic tragedy, because if I were to sit down with little bun, come in.
Why are you crying?
Do you have any idea how awful it looks us first dismissing Black Panther's utopic potential and then doing this self-generated philosophical white male sausage fest?
Yes, but at least we're being honest about it. Look who bankrolled Black Panther. No wonder it has no political teeth. Now stop crying and listen. You're a child. If I were to sit down with you and say, look at these things. Imagine that they belong to everyone. Do you think we can use them to build a better world for everyone?
Is that the Google sign?
Can we Google something?
Oh, what was I thinking? Go on, off you go.
Listen, it's like this. Compared to what Thomas More had available, we have all the tools imaginable to coordinate a wonderful shared world. Don't you see? That's what there should be stories about. We can measure everything. We could organise everything. If most people no longer had to slave their whole life.
Hello, handsome. You look lonely.
It's more that I'm sad. I mean, what is my crackpot theory? That if a couple of films showed positive shared futures, then suddenly the whole world would change for the better. And I'm the hero that figured it out. It's hopeless. Come on, kid, don't be so hard on yourself.
It's clear you just want to nudge things a bit in the other direction. Well, I can't do it alone, that's for sure. Dystopias are a critique of sorts, but to some people, these places just look like paradise.
Maybe that's where I can help.
With a positive wish spell thing!
Okay, here we go. Get ready.
Sarandon, DiCaprio, Reeves, Streep, Whedon, Cameron, Bigelow, Denis, Coppola, Coogler, Anderson, Villeneuve. Science fiction is a calling thee. It's time to become fictionally extreme for the sake of the children.
It's hopeless. Right now they're thinking, yeah, but how can you write a story about a place that's perfect?
What? They're not thinking that. Bigelow, Denis. It's clear that a world where everything is shared is full of people that are struggling. I mean, sharing is really hard. You're a child, you should know that.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's where I figured the AI would come in.
What? You mean like HAL and Skynet? I thought they hated humanity.
Yeah, and where did you learn that?
Oh.